to The Catholic Perspective, a podcast brought to you by rcspirituality.org. Enjoy the episode.
Some street talk about dating.
Recently, a researcher uncovered an interesting document in the personal archives of the great 20th century Christian apologist, C.S. Lewis. It appears to be a transcript from a board meeting or a military strategy session held in the lower regions of hell early in the 1950s. There's no explanation for how Mr. Lewis acquired the transcript, but the researcher's convinced that its contents explain how dating ousted courtship as the preferred method to prepare for marriage in the decades following World War II. By sharing it, he hopes that the truth will spread more quickly to those most affected by the change. You'll have to listen carefully. Remember, it's written from the point of view of the devil's top officers. After a few illegible lines that appear to be written in some kind of code, the transcript reads as follows. We have made most of them think that happiness comes from the right job and the right hobbies. This is good. It keeps them busy and distracted, skimming along on the surface of life, while their souls starve underneath. But we haven't been able to eliminate their natural tendency to fall in love, get married, and raise a family. This is bad, because good family life fills society with horrid things like trust, self-sacrifice, self-control, and compassion. Unfortunately, our experts keep telling us that we can only distort natural tendencies, not eliminate them. With that in mind, I asked a team of our brightest corruptors to come up with a plan for distorting this one. They did. They showed it to me. I like it, and all of you will now implement it. It's called dating. Here's how it works. The basic idea is to separate romance from commitment. Now, we all know that the enemy invented romance to accompany and enhance commitment. Romantic activity, even the most innocent, is not just for fun. It has a purpose. It's the first step to that most unpleasant intimacy that spouses are privileged to enjoy. Humans know this instinctively. When they get old enough to experience romantic feelings, those feelings always go along with daydreams about getting married. Romance, by the enemy's design, is intrinsically connected to commitment, and mature, informed, self-giving commitment is the bedrock of marriage and family life. If we can break this connection between romance and commitment, we will throw a wrench into the natural process of preparing for marriage. That will cause marriage and family life to deteriorate, poisoning the very fountain of healthy souls, minds, and hearts. I scarcely need to point out that once we have poisoned the fountain, the river is ours. In past ages, we often broke that connection through the useful institution of arranged marriages. It gave us a lot of chances to take the romance out of the commitment, which resulted in many unhappy families, dysfunctional children, adulteries, and other delectable social fallout. Definitely keep that arrow in your quiver. The new tactic, however, the one called dating, is even better. It takes the commitment out of the romance, and even damages the human's very ability to make commitments. This is preferable, because commitment is more important for human happiness than romance. Let me explain. We all know that the mature commitment that goes along with healthy courtship, engagement, and marriage needs a foundation of authentic friendship. Because friendship is the source of trust, sincerity, and forgiveness. Real friends know each other's good points and bad points and accept them. They respect each other and can count on each other. Authentic friendships between people of the opposite sex are not always easy to form, because romantic feelings, which tend to erode sincerity and trust, pop up so frequently. Now, this is natural. The old courtship system took it into account, and people simply accepted these feelings and kept them in the background until a solid friendship had been formed and marriage was a real possibility. They were able to do this through practicing that vile virtue called chastity. Forgive me for being so vulgar. A virtue which also helped married people to keep romantic feelings towards friends of the opposite sex in proper check. Dating, thank goodness, can change all that. Dating lets a young man and woman, even young teenagers believe it or not, skip the friendship stage and move right into the romance. It does so in two ways. First, it lets them spend a lot of unstructured time together alone. When they spend time together in small groups or in family gatherings or by working on projects together, a real friendship can develop more easily because those environments maintain balance between their hearts and their heads. Time alone together with the same person, lots of time, unstructured time, creates the perfect condition for their hearts to go haywire and their heads to get buried in the sand. Second, dating adds a corrosive element to all that time that they spend alone together. Unhealthy presuppositions. Dating by its very nature has an aura of romance. So when two people go on more than a couple dates together, they expect romance. They expect to be talking about their romantic feelings and to be acting on them. When that happens before a real friendship has been formed, it pushes the possibility of real, respectful, self-controlled, sincere, innocent friendship out the window. Dating relationships fast become an escape from reality. Dating leads to an illusion of stability and dependability. Friendship, the true foundation of dependability, is based more on facts than on feelings, but romance is all about feelings. So the sooner romance takes over, the less chance facts will have to build a friendship. That's how dating can inhibit the formation of authentic friendships between future spouses, making mature commitment almost impossible, and thus undermining the foundation of healthy courtship, engagement, and marriage. It's a fantastic result, and would be enough by itself for dating to win official approval. But the good news doesn't stop there. The healthy way to move from friendship into courtship and romance is through reflection. Young people should never start talking about or acting on their romantic feelings until they have seriously reflected on two things. First, they're supposed to think and pray about their vocation in life. Not everyone has been created to glorify the enemy through marriage. Some have been given a mission to consecrate their lives to his service through celibacy. For them, the celibate life will yield a deeper happiness. If they remember this simple fact, they will take their spiritual lives seriously, and while developing friendships with members of the opposite sex, they will give first priority to discovering where God is calling them. Luckily for us, most of them don't remember. Most of them don't give much thought to any other possibility than marriage and family life. This forgetfulness is a big plus for us. And dating, if used properly, encourages it. The dating culture keeps romantic feelings stirred up to excessive levels all the time. That makes it harder to live a healthy spiritual life and to hear a call to follow the enemy in perfect chastity. Even if they do hear the call, their dating experiences, if they have been sufficiently romantic, will help make them think that their natural erotic tendencies are a sign that celibacy or consecrated virginity is not their calling. This, of course, is absurd. Celibacy is not a vocation to an unnatural condition where erotic impulses simply disappear. It's a call to a supernatural condition where they are redirected to a higher love. Dating does wonders for making that simple truth hard to understand and even harder to accept. Dating will also help eliminate the second type of reflection that should precede romance and courtship. Once they have carefully concluded that they are probably being called to marriage, they need to ask themselves if they are ready for marriage in the near future. If not, whether because they are still in high school, or they're just starting college, or they just don't feel ready, or they want to give 2 years as a missionary, whatever the reason, if marriage is not a possibility in the near future, they really should delay any kind of courtship, and therefore any kind of romance, until it is a possibility. Otherwise, they will cause unhealthy tension, which will induce them to make all kinds of bad decisions. Then, once they are ready to look for a spouse, they should also reflect seriously on what kind of a person will be a good one, which in turn requires that they reflect deeply on themselves and on what kind of future they want to have. If they don't reflect on these questions ahead of time, they plant time bombs in their relationship. Dating is your best tool for making sure they don't think about any of these things. The dating culture makes it okay, even normal and expected, to start romancing without reflecting. The dating culture says that you should start romancing as soon as you and the other person feel romantic, and you should stop whenever your romantic desires for that person go away. This is perfect. If the romantic feelings don't go away, they will probably end up wanting to get married, which is just fine from our perspective, because that marriage will be full of time bombs, since they probably haven't built up the trust of an authentic friendship, and they haven't thought about what they're really looking for in a spouse and in a future family. Romantic feelings are great tools for helping people make bad decisions. They are so strong that they even make people think it doesn't matter what their spouse's religion is, or whether their spouse will treat them with respect, or whether that person will really be a good husband, father, wife, or mother. In fact, they make them simply stop thinking and live by pure feelings, which is unhealthy and inhuman, exactly what we're looking for. But if the romantic feelings don't last, which is the more common case, that's even better. The relationship will break up, doing emotional damage to both parties. The more intimate their romance has been, the more emotional damage the breakup will cause. That's just human nature. Romantic intimacy produces emotional bonds. That's what it's for. Therefore, broken intimacy produces emotional wounds. The great thing about dating is that it allows this bonding and breaking process to happen over and over and over again, as many times as they get romantically involved. In fact, this series of broken intimacies teaches them all kinds of dysfunctional relationship behavior patterns, and is the perfect preparation for a series of marriages and divorces in the future, which is, of course, our ideal model for the human family. There you have an explanation of how dating, when properly used, can put feelings in front of friendship and take commitment out of romance and plant time bombs in marriage and family life. That, my fellow tempters, is our plan for poisoning the source of healthy societies in the coming century. The first part of the transcript ends there. There is more, an entire second part, in fact, but it seems to have been damaged by hot tea or spilled beer, and the researcher is currently undertaking a painstaking study to reproduce the text by means of the latest laser imaging devices. He promises to forward it as soon as possible. But even this brief glimpse into how the devil has corrupted the natural process of courtship should help clarify the three key principles of that process. Friendship first, reflection second, courtship and romance third. It's certainly a countercultural approach, but so is the cross. And that's some very straight talk about dating.
You have been listening to The Catholic Perspective, a resource from rcspirituality.org. Please visit our website and check out more great resources to help you pray, learn, grow, and go. Please join our team of digital missionaries by subscribing at rcspirituality.org.